But who are they going to keep? They're going to keep Pickett.
It's picked off, giving Pickett time, but he misfired.
They're going to keep Pickett. They're going to keep Gabriel, who they drafted ahead of Shador.
12 yards of offense. Gabriel's going to take a shot. Look for the explosive. Down the sideline. Stewart has it. There it is.
There's no way, Rob.
And they're going to keep Joe Flacco.
A team that could go to the playoffs.
Take the handoff. Flacco. Deep shot on first down. Looking for the big play. And it's caught by...
There's three quarterbacks.
There's no way they cut him.
We're now tuned in to the Dark Times channel.
So here we go again, back with another one. Welcome back to the Dark Times channel. The only channel that you know that's going to bring it to you how I bring it to you and when I bring it to you. I'm going to try to bring you the truth. There's no agenda behind anything I say. It's all my opinion. And a lot of y'all share the same opinion. So let's go ahead and chime in on the latest surrounding Shador Sanders.
Shador Sanders, unsurprisingly, has put on the biggest show statistically of any of the four quarterbacks in this competition.
Fool's goal. Oh, I'm sorry.
41 of 53, 9 touchdowns, 1 pick. He has the highest completion percentage of any of the four guys on documented passes, 77%, and he led the squad with the 9 touchdowns. No one else had more than that. To your point, though, Rob, and this may be a little bit of foreshadowing.
And this is it, Ryan. Here's the big key, okay? Here we go.
He never took a single rep with the first team.
There are people, Ryan, already crowning him as he's going to be the starter this year. I don't know how you don't work with the first team, and I know there's training camp still to come after, coming up in July or whatever, but that didn't sound like it's only practice. If the coaches easily could have given him some reps against the starters, right? The number one starters and whatnot on the team, Rob G.
The reason why the Cleveland Browns didn't have Shador Sanders out there with the ones is because if they would have put Shador Sanders out there with the ones and he would have done what he did with the 2s and the 3s, it would have been a wrap. Because we're talking about somebody that's got the number 1 jersey and Shador Sanders in the entire NFL, and he was a 5th round pick, and he hasn't even taken his first snap yet. And so if Shador Sanders would have lit it up in OTAs with the ones, that would have been a wrap, because there's no way Shador Sanders, Mr. Popular, Mr. People's Champ, is not your day 1 starter after that. And so I don't mind the Cleveland Browns taking it slow. And I'm sure in their mind, they're testing Shador a little bit, seeing if he's somebody that's going to have a calm and level head even when things aren't going his way, even when he's not getting the reps. And to Shador's credit, he's been handling it like a pro.
Nobody cares how many reps you got. Whenever you get in the game, nobody cares if you took a snap before. They care about, everybody cares about production. So that's the main thing. When you get out there, you got to be able to produce.
But Shador, for whatever reason, and people can say it was the stuff that was leaked and all that, whatever it is, he didn't get picked till the 5th round. And this is not some punishment. This is nonsense when I hear this. Oh, this is the NFL trying to put Deion in his place because he's going to tell them what they're going to do and all this. Ryan, you know this. You're a pro athlete. People are trying to win, okay? They're punishing the Deion's family and whatnot. Really? Everybody, it's a conspiracy by everybody in the league. You know this, Ryan. People are looking for talent. What is the biggest deficit for most teams? A quarterback. Half of the teams in the NFL don't have a good quarterback. If Shador could really be the starting quarterback, you think that the Browns wouldn't play him?
Absolutely, no doubt about it, they wouldn't play him. There's some things to certain owners and certain organizations that supersedes money. And Rob Parker knows what I'm talking about, and a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about too. And so the notion that they wouldn't play somebody based on factors outside of football is ridiculous, and that's something that Rob Parker knows.
But we've seen this before, and the thing you brought up, which was the best part, is your popularity being bigger than your game. And that's where we are with Shador, and people don't want to acknowledge that. That's why, Ryan, nobody wanted Tim Tebow as a backup quarterback.
I was thinking the same name, Rob.
Right?
I was thinking the same name,
He won a playoff
Rob.
game, right, for Denver over Pittsburgh. He won a playoff game. He had these comeback wins. When he went to the Jets, they didn't play him. Nobody wanted him as a backup because it was like, if he's on your team, the whole conversation is about Tebow. When are you going to give Tebow a chance? When is Tebow going to play? Blah, blah, you know what I mean? And then it becomes too much. That's why I think a lot of teams passed when they realized, they said, well, he's not a first-round pick. He's not a second-round pick. He's not a third-round pick.
Now, Rob Parker taking it to the extreme, saying that Shador Sanders wasn't a first, second, or third-round pick. That raises my antennas a little bit, because now that's something else. Because there's nobody, you won't find anybody before the draft that would have said Shador Sanders is not a first-round pick.
But if you're the National Football League, clearly it's not about talent anymore. It's about something else. And I'm going to tell you, I spent a large amount of the last 24 hours thinking about nothing more than I was thinking about collusion. Because how in the hell does 32 teams in the National Football League pass on a quarterback that was universally recognized one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the country entering this draft, and 32 teams passed on him? Not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 different times they passed on him. How the hell does that happen? 4 rounds. It doesn't happen to a quarterback. We've never seen anything like this before. We've seen guys drop because of injuries. We've seen guys drop because of off-field issues, but we've never seen a quarterback projected to be a top 20 pick, universally recognized one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the draft, projected to be a first rounder, in all likelihood a safe bet of a late first rounder, and drop literally to the 5th round. We haven't seen anything like that. And when you're talking about the owners, I'm going to keep in mind, and I tweeted about this, seems very Kaepernick-like, as in Colin Kaepernick.
Players, I don't know about y'all, but I've been talking to players and I've been talking to coaches. Not to get into no names, but I know people everywhere. And they been saying, yo, this young kid ain't no 5th round draft pick. He's looking really, really good.
And the whole idea and the whole narrative that this class was a weak quarterback class is something that didn't start till it was clear in the college year that Shador Sanders and Cam Ward were the best quarterbacks in college football. Because before that, we didn't hear anything about this being a weak draft. Before the NCAA season kicked off, we didn't hear anything about that. But once Shador Sanders and Cam Ward solidified themselves as being number 1 and number 2 in this up-and-coming draft, that's when we started to hear the narrative.
But tell me if I'm wrong with this. I think because they knew who he was and they did take him as a 3rd or 4th stringer, at some point you're going to start it.
Well, but they're saying,
you agree
no,
there?
But they're saying, right, in that Mary Kay Cabot piece, Rob G, didn't they also say there's a chance that he could be cut because they can only
There's no way.
They
There's
can
no
only
way.
keep 3 quarterbacks.
There's no way they cut Shador. There's no way, Rob.
Yeah, because no team keeps 4 quarterbacks.
Nobody, but
You're right.
Nobody keeps 4, and I'm just saying, Deshaun is on the team, right? I mean, I know he's hurt, but who are they going to keep? They're going to keep Pickett. They're going to keep Gabriel, who they drafted ahead of Shador.
There's no way, Rob.
And they're going to keep Joe Flacco. There's 3 quarterbacks.
There's no way they cut him. There's no way they went to do that.
Who are they going to cut?
They're just going to hold extra. They're going to hold extra.
No,
it's
4
not
quarterbacks.
Common.
They're not going to have 4
don't believe that, Rob.
They're not going to have 4 quarterbacks.
Rob, they're going to make an exception for Shador. They knew what they did when they went and got him. And obviously the Browns are a team that, you know, could use some energy, could use a push to their fans. They're willing to go out and take a chance.
They haven't been able to get the quarterback thing right in a while.
Hey, man, they're selling Shador jerseys already. Come on, Rob. You know that.
I know they
Rob.
are.
They're selling the jerseys already. That boy ain't going nowhere.
They sold Tim Tebow jerseys, too. Nobody wanted them after.
But this was different. Tebow was coming in and didn't get on.
Tebow won a playoff game. Shador hasn't even played in a real game.
So you're telling me they're going to cut Shador Sanders? You're saying there's a chance. I don't believe it, Rob.
I'm saying there's a chance. When you look at it, they're not going to keep 4 quarterbacks.
No, it'll be unorthodox. It's not common, but they will.
And so Rob Parker was out of line on this one. And like I said, I agree with a lot of Rob's takes, but on this one, he was definitely off the mark. And I don't know if he was doing it to try to get views. I don't know if he was trying to get the ratings up, but he said a lot of things about Shador that were offbeat. And shout out to Ryan Hollins. Ryan Hollins kept it as real as he could, another analyst that I enjoy listening to from time to time. And so I agree with him. I don't think there's any way that they cut Shador Sanders. Right now, he's the best thing they got going on in Cleveland. But then on the other hand, I don't think there's any way that they're going to keep 4 quarterbacks either. Because if it was up to me and I was in the same situation that the Cleveland Browns are in right now, I would be in the same mode. I would be in that wait and see mode. Let's see how preseason goes. Let's see how training camp goes. And if we still like and we feel pretty good about the quarterbacks on our roster, then we got some tough choices to make. But chances are they're probably going to wind up trading one of these young quarterbacks, whether it's Kenny Pickett or Dylan Gabriel. I can see a team spending at least a 5th or a 6th round draft pick to get one of those quarterbacks. But in this day and age, I don't think there's any way that an organization can afford to keep 4 quarterbacks on a roster. These roster spots are too valuable, and there's too many injuries that occur within the season. And so having that extra quarterback on the roster just doesn't make any sense, especially when you factor in Deshaun Watson. So it's really 5 quarterbacks. And so, like I said, they're going to have to get rid of at least one of these quarterbacks on the roster. But that's my take on it anyways. Go ahead and chime in below, as you guys usually do. Let me know how y'all feel about it. And to the next one, peace and chaos.